Hello, how are you? I'm very happy today to share with you some tips on sexuality and pleasure during pregnancy. My name is Adelaida Beatrice. I work as a physiotherapist and develop my work especially with women through different parts of their life. And with much love, I help women when they are carrying the babies in order to have a respected pregnancy, a respected delivery, and a respected breeding. This is a very important subject for me since being also a mom have also gone through all the changes the body develops for pregnancy, and it's a very interesting subject, the sexuality and the pleasure during this time. When I work with my patients, this is always a question they put on me. What happens with sexuality during pregnancy? First of all, let me tell you that unless the doctors advise you the contrary, because there is a medical reason, there's no other reason for you to stop sexuality in your relation. But of course, sometimes either the man or the women, or in case the two women are expecting, it may be happen that one of the women may not want to have sexual relations during that period. The reasons are different, a variety of them. On the one hand, sometimes the woman is afraid, does not know, maybe has gone through an abortion earlier or has heard on abortion risk, and also may not have enough time to learn and to understand what is happening in her body during the pregnancy. On the other hand, men sometimes are afraid as well. They also don't understand what happens in the body of the woman. And it may also happen that they also have their own understanding on the sexuality. So let me today please share with you some tips, some understanding to give some light into this subject. Because I tell you, this is a wonderful moment for you to redevelop yourself as a human being and to understand better what sexuality means and what pleasure means. So I feel honored to be able to share with you these few tips to develop a better understanding on this subject. First, you can ask yourself, how is the relation that I have with my own body? What do I understand as sexuality? And what is pleasure for me? Let me start with the third of these questions, the pleasure. This is such an important subject to work with during these moments because it will help you, it will help your couple, and it will help the newborn. So the pleasure is something we all feel, we all understand, but most of us have never reflected on. When we were a child, around the 2 years, we start to develop a relation with our bodies. We start to touch our bodies and we start to discover big glimpses of this pleasure related with us. But in most of families, this transition, this natural transition, is not very well welcome. The families sometimes are afraid to see their children touching their bodies, and they also have a lot of misconceptions on their own bodies, so are not able to help and to provide a respected support for the children who are understanding their bodies by first time. So this is the first moment in life when we start to have a relation with our bodies and a relation with pleasure, and this is somehow being stopped, being prevented, it's not being respected, and it's not well contextualized. So this is the reason why I tell you now is the best moment while you are expecting to re-educate yourself to review the understanding you have on these three subjects, the body, the sexuality, and the pleasure, in order to be ready not only to work with yourself, but working with yourself, you are providing the best base to be with your children and to help your children when the children starts to learn of itself. So let me tell you, start to introduce yourself in the pleasure subject. Start to see what is pleasure for you, what does pleasure means, and how you can develop pleasure in the different aspects of yourself, mentally, emotionally, and of course physically, because they are all interconnected. This is a subject I'm not going to go now, but believe me, trust me when I tell you that the pleasure is interconnected through our brain in all the different bodies that we have. The second subject is the relation with your body. Do you understand your body? Do you understand the body of your couple? This is also a perfect moment to start understanding that. If you are the woman who is caring, you can understand, you can try to learn on the body of your couple. If, let's say, your couple is heterosexual and you're going to be penetrated by a penis, so it's a good time to learn on the penis, on the testicles, how do they work, which is their function. And you, as a woman, it's very important to learn yourself, to understand yourself. How is your vulva, your vagina, and your uterus working? How is developing your womb? What is happening inside your pelvic area? And how is your abdominus? And also your legs developing and working together with the whole of your body. This is also the right moment, because this will not only help you and help your couple and help your sexuality, but also will be the perfect base to be there near your child when these subjects start to rise in its development as well. And the third question is, which is the relation we have with sexuality? Let me share with you some important tips. Sexuality is much more than we would think. It's much more of what we have learned, because sexuality is life energy. This is something that every day we are coming near into this definition. We can see through neuroscience, we can see also through all the philosophies from the past who were already talking on these topics. And nowadays, more than ever, we can realize the reality of this definition. Sexuality is life energy. Of course, biologically, we are mammifers. And since we are biologically, as a species, human do copulation in order to have babies and to assure the descendancy. Of course, that's important. But this is not only because we have this amazing brain far beyond anything being known on earth. And this brain is so capable that we can use it also in our sexuality. It's not only instinct, it's more than it's instinct, with much more parts of the different bodies that we have working together in order to generate an energy that goes far beyond what we understand. Why do we have such a narrow understanding of sexuality? Basically, because we have been born in a society in which TV shows and films and programs, as well as books, treat this subject very much narrowly. Most of the films we have been grown up with does not take this subject seriously. They have used sexuality only as a reclaim to get more people, like a show, while sexuality is something sacred and is something pure and is something that can help us very much as a life energy. This is also a subject I'm not going to develop more. You can find yourself lots of information on that. But remember that if you understand sexuality as a life energy, and you understand pleasure as a part of this life energy, you have the right tips together with the knowledge of your body to develop a better sexuality with your couple during pregnancy. And this is very important because pregnancy is the best moment to re-evaluate yourself, to re-educate yourself. Because when you get the child on your arms, all your life will change. And also your brain changes, and your body changes, and your energy changes. So pregnancy is a fantastic moment to carry all these changes progressively and to absorb these changes not only with knowledge but also with wisdom. And the sexual relation with a couple during pregnancy is so beautiful because one has to avoid thinking only in copulation, since copulation has been done and the result of copulation is already there. So copulation is no longer needed actually during these moments. So one is able to focus in a very different sexuality. This is something we have to learn. It must be there at schools, it must be there at clinics, and all the doctors can share this knowledge with their patients. Because during these days, during these moments, you focus on pleasure, of your understanding of pleasure, and you reevaluate and reeducate yourself about the knowledge of your body and about the knowledge of sexuality. And there you have the best tips to have a wonderful career during pregnancy, to re-educate yourself and to remake yourself a perfect, a beautiful, wonderful human being, ready to share this pleasure with your child once it's born. And last, I'm going to share for me something that it was really, really beautiful, and I learned and I felt it was so helpful. While a couple is expecting either homosexual or heterosexual, the pleasure of the family is starting right there in the intimacy. This pleasure is the love that comes from the moment we touch, from the way we look at, how we smell, how we hear the sounds, how we get lots of information from all the area of the mouth and inside the mouth. So, this pleasure that you can share with your couple is also information your baby is getting inside the womb. And this is so magnificent because this information is already going inside the development of the baby. So that's why I tell, this is the perfect moment, the amazing moment to reevaluate, re-educate, and start to learn sexuality in a different way. I hope these tips be helpful for you all. I am very happy to have been able to share that. And I hope that for the next we meet and we can talk and we can share more information on sexuality, especially during pregnancy time.